No, we are talking about Gateway Court. Michael is the guy that made this report, and we're looking at choosing the correct FIP as the last stage of our fire order from North Sydney Council. All right, go ahead, Mike.
Yep, so as we discussed before, your current system is a wireless system and you're having issues with it. It's not really what you're after. It's not working the way as intended. So we've been engaged to design a compliant occupant warning and smoke detection system to suit this building. And I'm on currently the basement level layout. So I went out to site and inspected all the areas that I could access that were unlocked. And I did my own survey and witnessed what was there. And I put down design recommendations on what to change and to augment to suit the new system. So basically in the car park level, we have this symbol throughout called thermal detectors. And there was already a detector in the car park, but they are wireless. And as we are upgrading the system to a hardwired system, we will be putting in new thermal detectors in the building or hardwired in a loop in a circuit back to the FIP, which will be installed in the same location as the current one. So, yep, we've got thermal detectors around the basement level. We have new horn speakers throughout the basement level, basically to alarm the occupants within the basement level that if there is a fire, to evacuate the building. So that's basically it for the basement level. Any questions, please stop me as I'm going along.
Just a quick question. Is there a cable schedule that goes along with your document that we can give to our electrician?
No, I typically don't produce any cabling, routing, or diagrams. All I just show is on our specification a schematic on the cabling loops and whatnot, just a general schematic.
What I don't mean wiring route, but just a cable schedule, like an Excel spreadsheet with cable numbers and where they're going from and to and what they're for.
No, we don't do that. No.
So it's just that while it's being quoted by multiple electricians, have they got everything they need to know from these plans, or do they need to ask you questions?
I feel like everything is covered from these plans. That all the units, all the devices have been laid out, so they will be able to quote all the devices, the FIP, and from there they should have a basic cost per unit that includes installation, labor, the unit price, and the associated cabling with it.
Yeah, it's just like on the plan, it looks like it'd be easy for somebody quoting it to miss. Like if we knew exact quantities, and like there's no individual numeric label per device.
Yeah, so they can get exact quantities in terms of the actual devices, the smoke detection occupant warning devices off the drawing, so they can produce their own scheduling from that, and then they will have a price associated with each of that. That includes all the other items I just discussed.
Yeah, it's just like usually when we do audio visual design, if there's any item on the plan, it'll have its own number.
Okay.
I don't know if you can do that. If you could add that on.
I just don't see a benefit. Neil,
we're worried that if you don't do that, then and they say we're allowing for 14 speakers in the basement, and you've actually drawn up 15. We've got to go back and double check that they've quoted the right amount.
Well, I guess that's what their drawings are for. So they have to actually look at the drawings and make sure that they're quoting for the right amount.
Yeah, it gives us a lot quicker if you could just put a distinct number per device.
Okay, I can add that in an email or some sort, just a spreadsheet of the number of devices, and yep, so they don't miss anything.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Couldn't we have just a version 2 of the plans with extra annotations on it?
Do you just want just a scale? That's not a scale. Sorry, just like a spreadsheet or some sort of like a table.
Yeah, just even if you, so the way we would do it is like each device that's on the plan has its own unique number. So say if it's a smoke detector, it'd be S1, S2, S whatever. And if it's a horn, it'd be, you know, H1, H2, and that's on an Excel spreadsheet, and it corresponds to the device on the plans.
Yeah, so normally we don't actually put those numbers in. It's just because when the contractor actually wires this up, he wires in such a way that he can number all of those detectors accordingly, like in a numeric versions. And like when they actually label the FIPs, all those detectors on the FIPs, they'll have to nominate each of those detectors according to the rooms as well. So each of those numbers keeps on changing when they actually program it into the FIP.
Yeah, but it's not even, I'm not talking about for programming, it's purely for pre-wire. So you've got an electrician who has no idea what you're putting on each end of the cable. They need to label the cables at each end and have it.
And the basic point here is like whoever's doing the wiring needs to be certified to do all of this stuff anyways. So he will have to know what he's doing. Like you can't just bring in any electrician to do all of this stuff. That's the main basic of all wirings and all installations. So there's no point in bringing a guy who doesn't even know what he's putting in. So only the guy who's gonna put these things in should already have the knowledge in order to carry out those works. That's all written in the specifications.
Why can't any electrician do the pre-wire and then a fire person does the fit off?
But at the same time, the fire guy, the electrician needs to know what the fire standards are.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the main thing. So I know for AV guys, like we don't do AV design because we're not experts on AV. So we get the AV guy to do all of those stuff, right? So same thing here. If there's a fire guy installing all of these fire equipments, then a fire certified guy needs to put all of those things in rather than an electrician.
Yeah.
There's also, sorry, butt in there, Neil. The contractor who's installing this needs to have their FPass accreditation for installation. So that's actually a governing body for fire services in Australia, where they actually need to be accredited to install it. You can't have someone that doesn't have the accreditation.
Yeah, but that's for install the hardware, not for the pre-wire, I would assume.
Well, I'm guessing the pre-wire would have to also be included in the installation. The way I look at it, all the wiring is a part of the installation. If something was to go wrong with the wiring, you need to put the blame back on someone and make sure they have the accreditations for that. Because let's say something goes wrong with the pre-wiring and you're handing it off to someone else and it's not up to their standards, how do you go from then on?
You don't get the warranty of the installation at the end because there's somebody else doing some part of it, of the full scope kind of thing. So, like,
So is it legislation or whatever that dictates that the pre-wire has to be done by a fire person?
I'd do it all by a fire person. It'd be the same for wet fire. You wouldn't have a plumber do your sprinkler systems and then a fire guy just put in a sprinkler in a building. It just doesn't. That's asking for trouble, to be honest.
Yeah, okay. Because I mean, previously I thought one of the fire guys didn't have a problem with someone else pre-wiring it.
well, at the end of the day, the fire guy will be signing off. So if there's a problem, if there's someone else doing his stuff, he's taking the liability on. But at the end of the day, you're not getting the warranties of it because you won't take the warranty of the wiring side of things.
Yeah, okay.
All right. So can I just double check, Chris? Does that make sense to you that we will not get the electrical done by ourselves, but we'll use the fire company to do the electrical and the FIP?
Well, I agree with Justin. If it's pre-wired, we're wiring it up.
Yep.
We know what the standards are in terms of how we're wiring it.
So any electrician can do that.
It's the same principles of our standards. So it still corresponds with our standards.
So, Neil, is it possible for you to turn on your camera? It's just much easier to communicate. Are you hard on this issue that we must use the same company for the fire, the FIP and the pre-wire?
Well, at the end of the day, that's my recommendation. And if you guys are happy and the fire guy is signing off on all the warranties and everything, then it's up to you guys whatever you want to use. But my recommendation is when you're putting a fire stuff in, then the installation or people who are signing off or commissioning are supposed to be certified, right? And in order for them to be certified and like do the final commissioning, they need to have everything actually warranted.
Right.
That's to safeguard the client side of things, but like normally we see this, and majority of the time, like there's always finger pointing at the end on who's doing what.
Yeah, we understand the finger pointing. Yeah, we understand.
Yep, and if the electrician, if he doesn't wire it in the right way, with the fire guy wants, then there's gonna be issues.
Okay. Michael, are you hard on this as well?
Yeah, look, I agree with Neil. Like, at the end of the day, the fire contractor will be signing off all the works, all the complete works, and they have to be happy and taking the liability of the electrician. Like, I have no doubt, electrician can't do the work, but at the end of the day, they'll be taking the liability of all the works, not just the partial part.
All right. Well, that's awesome. We'll put both options through to the other owners. I think it's good for us to hear both of you say that, because I had a different vision in my head, and probably Justin did too. All right. So what's the next thing, Mike?
Yep. So we've gone up to the building, up the level, sorry, to the ground floor level, which contains all your retail tenancies and your common corridor / lift lobby. So the current FIP was situated on this wall here that goes across the page, and I've moved it over here just to meet some more clearance requirements that was needed to meet by the FIP. As I actually called the current supplier of your current FIP and basically said, hey, is there any way of hardwiring it back to the current FIP? And he's basically said no, you'd have to upgrade the system. So it was, and I guess it was better in our favor to have a new system and all new devices throughout the building, as opposed to trying to upgrade it using the existing panel. It's better to do it this way, I believe. So same methodology throughout all the retail tenancies. We've got smoke detectors, sorry, with the little square with the lightning symbol through it, and your occupant warning speaker in each of the tenancies. I had a chat, I believe, is
Can I just ask a question?
Sure.
Given that they are restaurants, do they need more fire detectors than a regular retail store?
And then a heat detectors.
Yep, so I've got heat detectors here. And if these are in fact, like, I know this one was, I believe, an Oriental restaurant or a noodle bar, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
This one here, so I can actually change that to thermal detectors and lights. So exactly what I've done here on these ones is I noticed one of these was a burger bar of some sort. So I've put in thermal detectors for that reason, so you don't get false alarms from all the cooking equipment, the steam giving off. It will just actually be set off by heat, which the steam won't actually generate.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the same methodology for the occupant warning speakers throughout.
Right.
That's basically it. For the lift lobby, you just have a single smoke detector and occupant warning. And also in the fire stairs, by code, you need a smoke detector. It didn't have, I don't believe it had one in there. I could be wrong. I have photos just in case, but yeah, I've added one in there in all the levels that opens up to the fire stairs.
Just with the plans as well, is it possible to colorize all the items that you've got on there just so they stand out?
Yep, I can change them color. That's all good. And it's the same methodology up the building. All the office spaces just have smoke detection and occupant warning throughout. This area here, when I went into that, I couldn't actually get access to these residential units. So I've provided my design methodology for what needs to be done within the units, and basically have a smoke alarm just outside of each of the bedroom doors, and a speaker just inside the entry to the unit, as shown here. And I noticed the walls, there has changed. There's been this corridor that's been put in here. So that's basically the same methodology up the building.
So we're going to put cabling all over the walls and ceiling to add all these extras?
Yeah, so
in the ceiling.
Yeah, you're going to need to have. This is why I want a really good electrician, because if they know what they're doing, they're going to be neat and they're going to be able to conceal cables where possible, not just put conduits everywhere.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of these. They're everywhere, and I can just imagine a cobweb of cabling and data everywhere.
Yeah, it needs to be done. It needs to be thought out properly. So, I mean, when it comes time to getting electricians or fire people to quote on it, we have to walk around with them and show them the building and talk about what we don't want.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of cavities that they can use that we've come across. People like the NBN guys. They were just happy to throw cables everywhere. They couldn't care less. Yeah.
Anywhere, yeah. And it's an old building, and there's lots of concrete floors and ceilings. So it's all concrete floors and ceilings. Sorry. So I don't know how you go from one floor to the next.
You might have to chase it up the wall, possibly within a retail tenancy if there is a space, and use it as your common riser.
I think there is, Justin, you probably know, I think there is a cavity running down with
There is
the
a riser.
electrical.
Yeah, there is a riser on one side of the building, but not on the other side. So it's again, it's just something that a good electrician's going to know what to do. But with I can walk around with them and show them what we think should be done.
But sorry to interrupt there, but that's basically the methodology up the building. Nothing really changes as we go up. It's still the same design methodology. That's basically it from my end.
Right. Okay, that's pretty clear.
Yeah, so if we could get the plans colorized for all the devices and each device have a unique ID and then a cable schedule and an Excel spreadsheet, that'd be ideal.
Yep, so I have to make it clear on the drawings, the numbers that they're going to be associated is just for quantity purposes. What Neil was saying before is because these FIPs are addressable, i.e. if there is a fire in, let's just say, this space
I know what I mean. Yeah, we just want a cable number.
Yeah, well, these are going to be in loops, so they're going to be doing it as, they're going to be doing it their way with loops. Like they'll be looping X number of units back to the FIP.
Yeah, so if you could label each device that's meant to be on the loop, like say if there's three or four detectors that are meant to be on the same channel, label them the same number.
Yep.
So like if you've got, I don't know, one restaurant that's got two detectors, there can be detector one, like as in the cable is just the one cable. It's purely for cabling purposes, not for programming, that we're trying to get the clarity on.
Yep. Okay. That basically locks in that with when you come to tendering, like there will be no deviation of pricing. Is that what you're trying to achieve?
We're trying to get apples for apples quotes. So because we've had some quotes already and they're wildly different, so that's why we went with the design.
Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't understand our quotes at all. So that's why we actually got you to do these plans, Michael, because everybody in the committee was lost. They had incredibly different specs and incredibly different prices. So Justin was the one that suggested let's get a plan done by somebody, pay them to do the plan, and then we can go forward with that.
Well, what I might just suggest is every level has their own cabling loop. Like that is sufficient enough, and that way it's a lot easier.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I think isn't that what we've shown in our schematics?
Yeah, I normally do 1 to 2 levels. You can allow a fair number of units, like up to 50 plus per cable run. We don't even have a 50 on one single level.
Yeah.
So that's fine. I can amend it just to show it per level for ease of installation to make it easy on the contractor.
And are these they're all addressable, kind of, I guess, like DALI, I would assume?
I know that's an electrical terminology. Neil, did you want to step in on that one with the DALI? I know.
Yeah, it's when you say like it's not like DALI, it's more like addressable when you say it's labeled through an IP address.
Yeah.
So each of those detectors are labeled through IP address.
It's IP. Okay, so but basically the cable that goes around, is that a loop? Like there's one
Yes.
tail that goes all the way around and comes back?
Yes.
Essentially, yeah, it's all daisy chained.
Yeah, okay. And so, yeah, I'd prefer to have a separate loop per level because that gives you better redundancy.
Yeah, and it's just one of cable, which is a 2-core red, I think 1.5.
Yeah, okay.
Exact, yes.
But is it? It's effectively like it's getting its address from the cable.
Yes.
Okay.
And that will also, like the FIP will have each detector labeled as where it's located, whether it's unit 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So it will just have unit 1, bedroom 1, or unit 2, bedroom 2, or something like that. So everything will be labeled on the FIP. If there's any issues, then it will just show up onto the screen.
Yeah, okay.
And that's, yeah, sorry, that's basically it for the system.
All right. Neil, do you have anything more to add?
No, pretty much it's pretty much straightforward one. And in terms of the riser as well, like you don't need too much of space. If you're running cables in conduits, you might just need 250 mm or let's say 32 mm just to run your cables up to each floor, because those cables are really thin.
Yeah.
And it can just go like you can have multiple cables in one conduit kind of thing. And these are like low voltage side of things, not the like extra low voltage, which is the speakers. So yeah.
So at the end of this job, Neil, when we've had the company install it and we're reviewing it,
yep.
Will I be able to take your plans and have a look, go on to say level 1 of the building, look on the ceiling, I'll see it labeled as say FIP1 and I'll see that label. I will come to your sheet, tick that off, walk down to the FIP and see that there's FIP1 there as well. Is that correct?
Yes.
And I'll be able to use your plans for that purpose?
Yes. So basically what will happen is at the end of the project, the contractor will provide you with a plan with everything marked up. So it will be similar to my plans, but wherever they've placed the detectors, that's where they will mark up with all the numbers and stuff in there.
Right. And as these plans are at the moment, do they have on level 1 FIP1? Like, are they labeled? Because I'm not seeing it.
No, so it won't be labeled. It like
no, hold on. No. Are you saying it is not labeled or it won't be labeled?
It won't be labeled because like
hold on. We just went through that, and I'll ask the question again because it's important.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not as knowledgeable as you, but at the end of the job, I want to be able to say that the body corporate committee that the job has been done and they should be paid for. So yes. Can I walk around the building with you, with these plans that you've put together, look on the ceiling, see a label that says FIP1 and another one over there, FIP2, tick it off on your sheet and then walk down to the lobby and see the FIP and then see FIP1 and FIP2 labeled there as well?
Okay, let me put it this way.
No, that's a yes or a no.
You won't be that way because you don't need one cable per device. You need a cable loop per level, and it's basically the cable runs around and goes to all these devices and comes back down to the board. So the board will end up with probably 3 or 4 tails, or maybe one for every level. So you'll have 2 cables per
Justin,
level.
I understand you know this well, but how can I confirm to the body corporate that all the pieces that I'm visually seeing are there? Like, will I be able to map what I'm seeing with my eyes and what is on Michael's plans?
It's Adam, right?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, Adam, let me explain. So the plan that you are looking at the computer now, like on the screen, it won't have numbers. But on your final completion, like after the contractor has installed everything, he will have to put numbers on each detector, right, on the locations where we've shown it on the plans, right? So they will be installing detectors according to our plans, but they will label each detector.
But all right, maybe I might try this with Michael. Michael, will I be able to see when the company is finished? Will I be able to look with my eyes and then look at your plan and tick off each bit?
Yeah, with our drawings, yeah. So what Neil, yeah, I understand what you're saying, and I think in short answer, yes, but it's not going to be as easy as you think. Like, yes, you can visually just look at the drawing. You can stand, let's say you've just walked in and you want to see if this speaker specifically is right there. You just have to
Yes.
look up and see, yes, but there will be no numbering on our drawings and there will be no numbering on the detector itself. You don't physically know that that one is looped back to the FIP as
Right.
X number.
So
But
maybe I've had a different experience with building and electricians, but when they put a PowerPoint there, they put a little number on it.
Yes.
that's right. That's from the contractor, not from us.
Yes. So the
Oh,
contractor will
so they
put the
choose
numbers
whatever
in.
numbers they want to. They don't do it
Yes.
according to the specs.
No,
Yes.
that's right. Exactly what Neil
Oh.
is saying.
Oh, I always thought it was as per the specs.
No.
No.
So like what happens is, like, when we put on our drawings, we allow for that many detectors, that many breakers, that many circuits or whatever, right? We label it on our plans for indicative locations and stuff. But then when the contractor puts it, he will find there'll be challenges on site to actually put those stuff in. So
Okay.
he might change the diagrams a little bit or wire it differently, but you will have it at the exact location as shown on our drawings, if that makes sense.
Yep.
And each of those detectors that are shown on our plans will be there on site when the contractor installs, and then he will label it according to how he's installed it. And then that's how he's going to program the FIP with all of those numbers in.
Right. Okay.
Right. So when I'm saying, like, if you can see the screen, like, let's say, for example, if you're looking at W56 is right in the middle on the round
Yeah, I
thing.
can see.
So there's a detector there, right? So if, for example, if that's labeled as level 5 detector number 7, right? So on your FIP,
Sorry,
you
where's
will
7?
have that detector labeled in there with level 5, detector 7, whatever. And the area is your professional chambers, let's say. So that will be written on there.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mess, Neil. Unfortunately, they're not professional chambers anymore. You're looking at something that's very, very old. So we probably need to kind of work with you to change what this is, because it's not that anymore. I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry about giving you that garbage. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's all right. But, like, I was just giving you an example that
Yes,
that's how it's going to be labeled on the FIP of the room where it's installed.
Yeah, we're going to go crazy if we're looking at things that don't exist anymore. So we'll have, but we did make that crystal clear to Michael in the beginning, that these plans are shitty, and he was happy to work with it.
Yeah, and I went out to site and I couldn't get access into these areas as well. So unfortunately, this is the best common grounds.
Okay. So let's summarize this. From here, and Michael and Neil, they're going to go ahead, grab these plans and do a version 2. They're going to add colors onto this and the cable schedule as Justin described. Justin, it might be handy if you just emailed through an example of something that you're after, just so we can know that you're both speaking the same language.
Yep.
You're going to put more notes on there to the electrician, and it sounds like you'll add some notes on there that says you must use the risers and the cavities, so that we don't get all this ugly cabling external to the building.
Mm-hmm.
All that we don't want surface mounted cables. So that will be great. We'll have that version 2, and then Neil, if you can get us, I guess this is where Kevin comes in. If you can get us a price for Neil to put a tender out there, so that we can get 3 quotes, and Neil babysits us through to choosing the best one, and we accept it, and then Neil reviews their installation, and then we pay them.
Yep.
Understood.
All right. Anybody else want to add anything?
Sorry, yeah, just one other thing, just about that fee proposal Kev's going to be preparing. That's also including a Neil to go out on site and do an inspection, a final inspection with yourself.
he can. Is this to make the version 2?
No, not to make the version 2. This is for, as you said before, once the works have been complete and installed, who will be saying that, yep, everything's there as per the drawing.
Yeah, we want that price to include doing the tender, looking at the quotes, helping us choose the best of the 3 quotes. At the end, reviewing the installation and saying, yeah, that's good, let's pay him.
Yep, okay. That's also including site inspections, Kev. Okay, sweet.
Yeah.
Yep. And just to add on, like in terms of the cable sizes and stuff, is it okay, Justin, to add those things on the schematics? So we'll add the loops or the size of the cables that are actually used for the loops.
Yeah.
Because that's the only bit that you'll need to actually give to the contractors so that they know which cable that they're running.
Yep.
Cool. Alrighty.
Awesome.
Okay, so the next question is, do you think you can get us the version 2 before Thursday, and can you get us the quote before Thursday? Is that possible? We have a meeting with heaps of the owners, and that's why I kind of ambushed you with this, because I realised that it was in danger of not happening by Thursday, and we really want to get this on the road.
Yeah, look, from my end, I'd like to get this wrapped up prior to me leaving, so I'll endeavour to have this to you by Wednesday close of business.
Yep.
So you can have it for Thursday.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Kev probably speak. I don't want to speak on his behalf for the fee proposal part.
Quote wise, yes, I'll be working towards, as you've indicated, Thursday meeting, so COB Wednesday.
Excellent. That's good sales guy. No problems there. Excellent.
No problems.
So yeah, you can get it to us anytime, as late as you want on Wednesday night. I will get it printed early Thursday morning, and I'll show the other owners. All right, super. I'm very, very grateful that you guys joined the call. I think it was excellent. It's very sad that you're leaving, Michael. But anyway, never mind. We'll still get the building done anyway.
Yep.
So,
No,
all
it's
right.
all
So thank you for that. Thanks
everyone.
Neil.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
you.
all.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for organising, Adam.
No problems.